Greetings and salutations and good morning, everyone. It's yours truly, Dan Adams, a.k.a. the Soulful Conservative, the DA, and the Prosecutor, host of this said show, The Dan Adams Show, and it is August 31st, 2017, or 2017, whichever way you say it. And first and foremost, giving honor to God and to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, for without them, me coming to you right now would not be possible. Wow, cannot believe that it is August 31st. Full swing in regards to school, even though my son didn't make it to school today with his stomach issues, mainly brought upon him in the way he eats. And I know he doesn't listen to my podcast. If he does, especially this particular one, you know what I'm talking about. Now, want to talk about a couple of things here, and then we'll just let it be fluid, as they say. But I want to talk about the disaster recovery relief efforts and the upcoming supposed government shutdown, which, as they were talking about on the radio before I started recording this broadcast, should not happen, will not happen. And they were discussing one matter in regards to it's going to be in the range of $125, $150 billion that's going to be needed for disaster relief for Texas and the surrounding areas, that it should not be tied to the debt ceiling. And I agree. There is no reason, ladies and gentlemen, no reason at all that a bill, not even a bill, it's just relief. It's not a bill. This is what the government's supposed to be and supposed to do, and should have at its hands, at its fingertips. This is what government is supposed to do. When we have tragedy like this, when we have this utter chaos like this, not taking my money to fund sanctuary cities, not take my money and continually fund failing educational systems, Our money should not be taken for pork projects, for idiotic stimulus packages, for shoved down our throat Obamacare, and anything of that nature. When we give our tax money, this is what it should be set aside for emergencies, for disasters like Hurricane Harvey, and anything else that the nation needs in regards to any emergency that may come about. That's it. We don't need to be funding the Treasury for whatever it needs to do in regards to what the Treasury does. And for what I understand about the Treasury, it's like its own entity of its own self. It can do whatever the hell it wants, and it seems like government and Congress and everyone else can't do anything about it. This is what I heard. I may be wrong. Now, like I said, discussion of disaster relief and tying it to the debt ceiling. No. Just have a disaster relief package in and of itself, by itself, not being, I guess, I was going to say a word that, ladies and gentlemen, I was going to say something, and I'm glad I didn't say it. But we don't need Congress. We don't need the GOP or the Democrats laying their grimy hands on a bill that shouldn't even be a bill, but there should be no, and I mean no, mishandling of money in regards to disaster relief. That's what it's for. Disaster relief. Nothing else. Stop trying to add stuff to it. Stop trying to wiggle your way in regards to trying to fund a little pet project you have by adding it to this disaster relief. You should be ashamed of yourself if you're a congressman or a woman wanting to do something like that in regards to disaster relief. Trying to add something that doesn't need to be added, loading on something that needs to not need to be loaded upon, I'm starting to get upset. And as I'm driving, I should not be upset while I'm driving, because then I could, flip somebody off for no reason, or I could be completely, it could be completely warranted if I flip somebody off that do something wrong. But as I digress and get back to the topic at hand, there should be no, and I mean no, mishandling of this disaster relief. We saw what happened with Superstorm Sandy and the craziness that happened when that went down. When these idiots were trying to push through their little pork projects with this disaster relief. This is why Congress has a 15% approval rating, ladies and gentlemen. 15%! Now, I want to talk about the heroic efforts that have been made and still are being made in regards to helping our fellow men and women and children down in Houston and the surrounding areas in Texas. You've seen the photos, you've seen the videos. God bless these individuals. These people who are going out of their way. And these are individuals that have lost everything, just like the individuals that they're trying to help. They could say, you know what? I've lost everything. I don't have the energy. I don't have the heart. I don't have the will to help anyone else except for me and my family. But no, these individuals are stepping it up in a way I've never seen. But this is what happens, ladies and gentlemen. This is what we do here in America. So Antifa, Antifa, and the Democrats and the liberals and the fascists and the socialists and the Marxists and those who can't stand America, Black Lives Matter, and everyone else. This is what America is about. When someone is in need, we step up. We don't go around whining, complaining, and moaning and bitching about situations that haven't even occurred, situations that have been blown out of proportion, situations where you're trying to gain a political advantage. You ought to be ashamed of yourselves. You ought to get down on your knees right now and repent and ask for God's forgiveness for your behavior, for your outlook, and for what goes on in your brain that is so getting upset, ladies and gentlemen, getting upset. My emotions are just at a they're at an apex right now. I'm glad I came to a stop here so I can get myself together. But ladies and gentlemen, this is what America is about. What's going down and the heroic efforts on display in Houston and the surrounding areas in Texas, that is what America is all about. So when you have Linda Sarsour, that's right, the Muslim of the moment, Linda Sarsour, trying, ladies and gentlemen, but she got called out. She got put on blast, as I say. She tried and failed miserably, but then she again tried to blame the alt-right, which... Okay, go ahead and blame the alt-right because it's not me. It's not my fellow conservatives. So if you want to call out the alt-right, then go ahead because it's not us. But she called out the alt-right for calling her out because you know damn well. You go look at that page, that donation page that she supposedly was putting up and was asking donations for hurricane relief efforts. Excuse me. You dug deep, which someone did, took the time and looked and verified and saw that money wasn't going to hurricane disaster relief. It was going into her political super PAC. So, ladies and gentlemen, always be leery and weary in regards to an individual like that asking for donations. There are already organizations in place that you can guarantee that your money is going to go where it should go. Not some Muslim of the moment wannabe activists thinking that just because she's a woman and she's a Muslim, that somehow, some way, we're going to let her slide. Hell to the no, lady. You ought to be ashamed of yourself. And I've been shaming a lot of people on this broadcast. But Linda Sarsour, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. You forget, don't go down Kathy Griffin's path and apologize and take it back. You need to apologize and mean it. How dare you try to take advantage of a situation like this? I'll tell you what. She's lucky I'm a man. Because even as much as I can't stand her, I wouldn't lay a finger on her. But if I was a woman, I would beat your ass down. Point blank, end of story. Now, this is a local advisory here. Real quick, just heard on the radio that the Water Authority may be lifting the boil advisory that's been in effect for certain communities and neighborhoods in the Pittsburgh surrounding area. So pay attention. Keep going and to the websites that are local here. WPXI.com, WTAE.com, KDKA.com, PostGazette.com, TripLive.com. See, I'm throwing them out there for you, Pittsburgh. Or just, I believe there's a number that you can call for the Water Authority to find out the status of the boil advisory that has been in effect. But I heard that once they receive all the test results back today and everything comes back kosher, then the advisory more than likely will be lifted later today. So I got my local advisory out of the way, and let's move on. Now, ladies and gentlemen, there have been just complete and utter lunacy coming from the left in regards to Hurricane Harvey and the bellowing out of stupidity from individuals who, number one, can't fathom the fact that Melania Trump could walk to a helicopter in stilettos and look gosh darn fine as hell in stilettos. But, oh, wow, get on a plane and fly to Houston and the surrounding areas to get a better hold and grip on what's going on down in Texas right now, that she could change on the flight, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my gosh, isn't it this unbelievable that you can actually change your clothes on a flight? If the left in this country are going to go after the First Lady Melania Trump because she wore stilettos, ladies and gentlemen, stilettos. She wasn't in a freaking piece of lingerie or in a bikini or topless going down to Texas, you numbnuts. This is what happens, ladies and gentlemen, when you have too much time on your hands, when all that you care about, and I mean all that you care about, is taking down President Trump and his administration. Me personally, ladies and gentlemen, as a conservative, I am trying to better the future of America, Democrat included. But I am looking for solutions to better the current situations that we're having in America, financially, economically, on the education side of things. I'm not trolling the internet, social media, blogs, and making idiotic, nonsensical, maniacal comments about stories that are published. I'm not publishing stories that are completely out of the realm of common sense and decency. So for all these individuals who reported on Melania Trump's stilettos, you're getting paid for that? Some of these individuals are getting paid to write stories about stilettos? If I was this company that you were employed by, I might be rethinking your employment at this time. But then again, these are leftist, liberal, numbnut, moonbat publications that are putting out these gigantic waste of time stories. Now, going forward, ladies and gentlemen, what do you think the coverage is going to be? As I stated earlier in the broadcast, we're going to have this debate in regards to disaster relief and the debt ceiling and government shutdown. So that's going to be on tap. Just be leery of the craziness coming from the left. Keep an eye on the prize. Keep yourselves abreast as to what's going on so you can combat liberalism when it rears its ugly head. Now, we have gone through disasters like this in the past and have come out better from it. We've learned from it. And not to get political, I told myself I wasn't, but you have individuals out there who are jumping on the bandwagon in regards to this Joel Osteen story, Melania Trump stilettos, Barack Obama, and anything else in regards to him not being at the floods of Louisiana last year, and Michelle Obama and all that good stuff. I'm not going down that right. No. I am putting my positive energy towards the betterment of our fellow man, women, and children who are in the midst of just sheer and utter discombobulation. Their lives have been not shaken to the core, flipped upside down, destroyed as far as everything that they work for. So I'm not going down that route, ladies and gentlemen. I'm putting my positive energy out into the universe to help these individuals in any way that I can. Now, speaking of helping individuals, President Trump spoke in regards to his tax reform initiatives yesterday. And I put a quick little post out on social media last night in regards to that speech and saying, now, how is the GOP going to royally screw this one up? How are they going to put their foots in their mouths? Foots, ladies and gentlemen, not feet, foots. How are they going to look like complete and utter jackasses when it comes to tax reform? There are so many simple things that can be done and should be done, and hopefully they will. But some way, somehow, ladies and gentlemen, these idiots in the GOP will somehow screw it up. You see how they screwed up Obamacare and repealing and replacing? Idiots couldn't even repeal it. They couldn't even repeal it and worry about replacing later. So, what confidence do we have? And I'm talking about we. I'm just going to put myself out there. So what confidence do we have in the GOP that President Trump's tax initiatives are going to get through? It is way down there. It is down there where their approval rating is 15% and less. If it happens, then I'm not going to congratulate them because this is what they should be doing. So, ladies and gentlemen, put the pressure on. Continue to put the pressure on locally, statewide, and federally. Keep the pressure on. But don't expect, please, don't expect these idiots, these numbskulls, these complete and utter jackasses to do the right thing for the American people. Because most of these punks are in it for themselves. To continue to maintain their power, to continue to allow themselves and allot themselves opportunities to fatten their pockets. So, it is August 31st, 2017. We are at a juncture where we're going to see what this GOP-led Congress is made of. And if they're going to continue to push back against the agenda of President Donald J. Trump, which they have from the get-go. They haven't been fully on board for anything that he's been trying to push through. Now, there's some things that I agree with, some things I don't in regards to his agenda. But the things that I do support and the things that are so completely and utterly, ladies and gentlemen, self-explanatory and should be done, there should be no debate about it, then that's where I have a problem with this Congress. And you should too. So, ladies and gentlemen, as you go about your day, it is Thirsty Thursday. Not sure what you're drinking, but hopefully in about 10 or 15 minutes or so, I will have some coffee at hand. But as you go about your Thirsty Thursday, and what is this? It's something else. Throwback Thursday as well. Go ahead and put them up on the internet, the World Wide Web, and the social media. Let's see what you can put out there in regards to what has happened in your life and what's going on in your life. Don't be afraid. Don't be scared. Just let it be. Let it be. Let it be. Let it be. And as I end this broadcast for this particular episode of the Dan Adams Show, as I always say and will always say, may God continue to bless you and your families. May He keep you and your family safe. Until next time, God bless you and yours. Peace and blessings.
If tomorrow is our great getting up morning, if tomorrow we have to meet the judgment day, Heavenly Father, we want you to let our folks know that we died facing the enemy. We want them to know that we went down standing up amongst those that are fighting against our oppression. We want them to know, Heavenly Father, that we died for freedom. Amen. We ask these blessings in Jesus' name. Amen.
This is a Fox News alert. A fire in all the flooding in Texas. I'm Dave Anthony. It happened in Crosby. Rocked by two explosions at 2 a.m. at a flooded chemical plant. Fox's Evan Brown has more live from Houston, about 20 miles away.
Dave, the Arkema chemical plant says volatile chemicals stored there are what caused the explosion, resulting in an airborne chemical leak. 10 deputies are being treated for inhaling it. They've also evacuated the immediate area. Please do not return to the area within the evacuation zone until local emergency response authorities announce it is safe to do so. Eileen Smith is an Arkema spokeswoman. The chemical is believed to be non-toxic, but still an irritant and would make you sick if you breathe it in. The plant's been without power since Hurricane Harvey, and the materials might not be stored properly without power, Dave.
Yeah, but in some areas around Houston, the flooding's still getting worse as a reservoir spills over, putting neighborhoods in danger in Fort Bend County.
New mandatory evacuation near the Barker Reservoir. The residents given a mandatory evacuation order. Problem is most of them haven't found out yet, so they're going to wake up and be told they've got to get out.
Fox's Griff Jenkins. People in Tyler County also told to evacuate or they could die as rivers rise. And amid the high water in Beaumont, residents have lost tap water. The water supply has been cut off by flooding. Thousands remain in shelters, and the disaster is now blamed for at least 31 deaths. 10 homes have burned down. 500 more threatened near the northern California town of Oroville by a wildfire. And in Montana, 1,000 homes evacuated by a wildfire there. A Texas law cracking down on so-called sanctuary cities supposed to go into effect tomorrow is on hold.
A federal judge has temporarily blocked most of the law from going into effect because he's concerned it may be unconstitutional. It could fine counties that don't honor federal requests to hold immigrants for possible deportation, and it would remove police chiefs and sheriffs who don't cooperate with detainer requests.
That's Jack Callahan, Fox News. Fair information. President Trump took his push for tax reform to Springfield, Missouri.
We believe that ordinary Americans know better than Washington how to spend their own money, and we want to help them take home as much of their money as possible and then spend it.
He says he doesn't want Congress to disappoint him again. There's a new Fox poll putting the president's approval rating at 41%.
The number of people who are happy with how things are going in the country, according to the Fox News poll, dropped 10 percentage points since April. As for the president's response to Charlottesville, in which he said both sides were to blame for the violence, 56% of poll respondents disapproved of his remarks. The same number feel the president does not respect racial minorities. When asked who's more of a threat, white supremacists or the media, 40% said media, 47% said white supremacists, and 70% of voters said the president dislikes the media more than white supremacists. When it comes to Hurricane Harvey, though, 44% said they approved of the president's response to the disaster, though most of the poll was taken before the president went to Texas on Tuesday. Jessica Rosenthal, Fox News.
Wall Street stock futures rising before today's trading. Now sports. The Tribe wins twice.
There's a fly ball deep left field for Frankie Lindor, and it is gone to Souvenir City.
Cleveland swept a doubleheader in New York. The Indians have now won 7 straight games. The Yankees fall to 5.5 back of Boston in the AL East after the Red Sox beat the Blue Jays. The Orioles also won their 7th straight, beating the Mariners. A dramatic ending in Milwaukee.
And a high fly ball, center field. Broxton going back at the wall. He leaps. Oh, my goodness! He caught it!
Keon Broxton robbed the Cardinals of a home run, reaching over the wall to catch it in the 9th to end the game, preserving the Brewers' 6-5 win on FS Wisconsin. In the NBA, the Celtics and the Cavaliers have finalized their trade. Boston gets Kyrie Irving, Cleveland gets Isaiah Thomas and others. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News Radio.
Y'all ready for this? I don't think y'all ready for this. Hip hop, neo soul. Let it flow, let's go. Yeah, taking you past the fake and unreal. Broadcasting live from the city of steel. Digging deep down in the trenches, clearing pathways and leaping fences. My vertical leap undeniable, wavering from heathen to upright disciple. Redirecting traffic congestion, reaching for the elite, never settling. Pure adrenaline stampedes the mundane. Anticipation for the refrain, the hook, the line, the sinker. The most notable part you remember. Using this marketing tool to unveil. I'll win, I'll play, I'll last, I'll prevail. Defeat the negativity. Go ahead and repeat after me.
It's no surprise. Look into my eyes. Feel the rush from your simple time. Don't mind the pain. No one else to play. Just lay it on me.
Elements of survival, purely tribal. Instinct, integrity leads to longevity. In the manner of speaking, I'm reaching all 4 points of the globe. Now behold, the dawning of a new era. On purpose, rugged on the surface. This dialect, a woven tapestry. Avoiding catastrophe like asteroids colliding. Meteors disintegrating. This lyrical source on course. Sizing up the competition. Time is of the essence. My presence is so critical. Evac procedures must be put in place. The chase isn't done till a winner is named. Melodic MC, now lay it on me, yeah.
It's no surprise. Look into my eyes. Feel the rush from your simple time. Don't mind the pain. No one else to play. Just lay it on me. When we take the time, there's so much more for us to know. Let our minds explore. Just think of how the world could be. Relax, sit back, and we'll see. into my